The brand Comme was founded by Ray Kawakubo. In her brand, she pushes the limits of the fashion with a bold aesthetic, challenging what it means to be glamorous and beautiful. This makes her brand stood out in the 1980s when office attire was at the peak of its widespreading appeal. After studying fine arts in the athletic at Kwa University, Kawakubo founded the CDG brand and opens her first boutique in Tokyo. The brand name Comme means like boys. It was named this because Ray Kawakubo personally liked the sound of the name, and also mainly because it echoed women's liberation movement of the 1960s and 1970s. At this point, the Western fashion world was unaware that they were about to face a shock from the East, with Ray Kawakubo leading the Japanese fashion revolution and standing in the opposite to them. Ray Kawakubo made the decision to focus on materials in order to develop something unique in 1978. She produced a fresh and more voluminous style that was distinct from her earlier work by utilizing contrasting texture, fabrics, and cottons. The autumn/winter 1978 to 1979 collection was a turning point because it was the first time to be made with original textures. Her show named Ho in 1982 and the show named Patchwork and X in 1983 were even more revolutionary. Shown in front of the press and the buyers on an official ready-to-wear schedule, both collections featured garments that were intentionally aged and unfinished and were predominantly black. In the show hosts included the ripped and the dropped sweaters, which were created by intentionally configuring knitting machine to produce this effect, while Patchwork and X show featured the patch dyed in various shades of black ink, which is made from the charcoal typically used in Japanese calligraphy, as well as exposed seams, intentionally frayed edges, and incomplete forms. In the era of body design and glamour, Rei Kawakubo's costumes were definitely an insult, which triggers much critique and comments. Her garments were mainly in black, largely formless, and occasionally sprout third sleeve degeneracy. Although critics had a hard time figuring out what to make of them, they were still embraced by a powerful artistic crowd who viewed Rei Kawakubo not so much as their own, but as an individual artist in her own right and her own brand. Rei Kawakubo's work definitely challenges the convention of Western fashion. Her clothes were not symmetrical or perfectly fitted, but wrapped and hidden. They were assimilate Japanese athletic principles, among them like wabi-sabi, which means the respect for inconspicuous materials, signs of age and imperfections, and also the concept of mu and ma, which means the emptiness and the space. In Western fashion world, the 90s were the height of Tom Ford's tenure at Gucci, when he rescued the dying fashion house with his contemporary, proactive take on the luxury classes. This brought Gucci to the forefront of the relevance, but also drew criticism for the over-objectification of women. However, as a consistent anti-fashion and a style of design from women's inside, Comme opposes the heavy pomp and the circumstance that exists in Western women's clothing to please men. And Rei Kawakubo believed that clothing can be an expression of women's self-esteem and self-expression. Comme design philosophy was therefore in line with the feminist wave. It emphasizes the multiculturalism, multisexuality, and the multi-value of women's issue. It advocates women to break out the shackles of their original thinking and calls for the elimination of social gender prejudice. Rei Kawakubo's design philosophy is synonymous with non-pleasure and anti-sexuality, and it is also her way of giving women equal rights in clothing. Therefore, it comes to one of the most impressive collection of Comme des Garçons, which is in spring/summer 1997, Body Meets Dress, Dress Meets Body collection, which is also known as lumps, and bumps. It challenged the standard of feminine beauty while seeming to emphasize them. Rei Kawakubo included aspects that would otherwise be considered distasteful. For example, the diaper swag on the dress while keeping the nipple visible. She used decked-down padding in her garment, using visually striking check patterns and exaggerated silhouette to highlight the bulging body. This form changes as the model moves, reshaping our perception of the female form. The use of chevrons throughout this collection is particularly intriguing because the prints themselves invoke the 1950s housewife stereotype, a kind of template from which contemporary feminisms are striving to break free. A kind of social commentary is offered by the fabric and the block combination, which portrays a lady who is trapped by convention and custom and who is unable to escape from her problem. In this collection, Rei Kawakubo believes that clothing is a natural whole thing, and those body parts, such as lips and head, can be diluted. Therefore, Rei Kawakubo's design often seen some garments without sleeves, collars, etc. The lump is a direct design at the visual level, blurring or even erasing the existence of these body parts. But the Western designer at that time is the aggregation of various parts of the body, put together to form a whole thing. This was one of the rebellious acts of Comme des Garcons that shocked the Western fashion world. In 2017, the Costume Institute's spring exhibition examines the work of Rei Kawakubo, which is the first living designer after Yves Saint Laurent the institution's exhibition is about. About 140 pieces of Kawakubo's appeal for Comme des Garcons, spanning from the early 1980s to her most recent collection, are on display in the theme exhibition.
When you first walk into the gallery, you'll see red ensembles from 3 different collections: body meets dress, dress meets body, invisible clothes, and 2 dimensions. They're 3 expressions of how Rei blurs the boundaries between the body and dress. There's 8 overarching themes or dichotomies in the exhibition. The most radical collections, even to this day, was her 1997 collection, Dress Meets Body, Body Meets Dress. It included padded structures made out of goose down feathers that completely disfigured the body. So it was a celebration of deformity, which was challenging with these normative conventions of beauty. It still stands out as one of the most provocative collections, more so because often it was done in very childlike and sweet bubblegum pink gingham.
As the narrator Andrew Bolton said, the 1980s collection, especially the Body Meets Dress, Dress Meets Body, are iconic of Comme des Garcons. Personally, I believe that basically all the collections of Comme des Garcons in the 1980s to the 1990s are the most essential and the classics. The approach to design, which ignores body curve and has sexually sensitive areas, has the effect of changing women's clothing while at the same time moving toward genderless clothing. Although Rei Kawakubo is not a claimed feminist, the light of feminism is frequently seen in Comme des Garcons. Given the background information that the pursuit of bright color in the 1980s was, to a certain extent, a product of the male gaze, as bright pink covered the female body with its curve highlighted, and male sexual desire and the idea of objectifying women surged together. So black, on the other hand, is an angry glare at the male gaze that Rei Kawakubo used in Comme des Garcons. She redefined beauty with her asymmetrical, curved design, setting off a wave of rebellious Japanese fashion that's sweeping the fashion world. The beauty can be ragged and unstructured. Beauty can be hidden without being sexy and naked. Her unique style influenced how society should look at gender, especially to women issues. As Rei Kawakubo herself said, for something to be beautiful, it doesn't have to be pretty. And that is probably the key to the success of Comme des Garçons, that the meaning of the clothing are the most important things.